Hello everyone and welcome to the lecture series on ARM microcontroller and embedded systems. We are dealing with the module number 3. This is the second lecture, lecture 21. So in the previous lecture, we have learnt about the introduction of embedded system and its classification. And also we have seen what is an embedded system and how it will be classified and what are there in the embedded system. We have classified the embedded systems based on the complexity, the generation, as well as it was generated using the amount of or the way of triggering the embedded system. So in the today's lecture, we'll learn about the purpose of an embedded system. Purpose of an embedded system is nothing but we will be dealing with the different types of reasons for which we will be using a embedded systems. So the purpose of an embedded system is defined as the reason for which I will select an embedded system. So each embedded system is designed to serve the purpose of any one or a combination of the following tasks. So this whatever we have, this is the purpose of the embedded system. So we have the first one as a data collection. We know for every embedded system we will be needing the data and the collected data needs to be stored and it should be represented. This is one purpose. The second purpose is data communication, where we use the data to be communicating towards external world. So the data to be communicated might be analog data, digital data, depending upon what type of data it is, we will be representing it as well as we will be using that kind of the devices either to convert or to represent or to store. So data will be communicated. After the data communication, the next purpose of an embedded system is data processing. So when I try to process the data, again it depends upon the type of embedded system what will be used and we will be selecting that particular data processing method. Once it is collected, stored, represented and then communicated as well as monitored, we will be using it for the monitoring purpose. That means whatever we have that will be monitored. So the data whatever we have that is monitored and will be getting the output. Then what happens is the next purpose which is control. We know that we have monitored, we have processed, then we try to control. That means depending upon these options whatever we have seen, if something is missing or something is to be added, at that time I'll be going in for this control application. And the last one is the application specific user interface. Here we'll deal with a application specific user interface that is used in a textbook. Okay, so these are the basic purpose of an embedded systems which will be used for one particular embedded system. So in the next one we'll be seeing each purpose in detail. So the first one is the data collection, storage and then representation. So to do this, we need the data to be collected. So we have here as the embedded systems designed for the purpose of data collection perform acquisition of data from the external world. So acquisition of data means we are collecting the data. Data collection is usually done for storage, analysis, manipulation and transmission kind of work. The term data refers to all kinds of information such as text, voice, image, video, electrical signal or any other measurable quantities. So, the data can be either analog or digital as explained. So, whatever we could select, it may be image, it might be a text or it might be a video or it might be a electrical signal. So whatever we collect, depending upon that, the data can be classified into two. One is analog is our analog data and the second one is digital data. So the embedded systems with analog data capturing techniques collect data directly in the form of analog signal, whereas embedded systems with the digital data collection mechanism converts analog signal into digital signal using a ADC. So this conversion of analog to digital or digital to analog is happening at the collection stage only here. So after this, it converts the analog into digital and it stores the binary equivalent of analog data. So in this particular slide, what we can learn is what is data, why we need it, and how it will be collected or how it will be stored in the system, and the data collection, representation, and storage. So to store all this data, we need a large amount of memory where we will be storing in all these details. So the data collection, again it has a few more points. If the data is digital, it can be directly controlled or directly captured without any additional interfaces by the digital embedded system. Data collected by the data collected may be stored directly in the system or may be transmitted to some other system. It may be stored in some other systems and it may be processed by the system. It may be deleted instantly after giving a meaningful representation. That means to amount of memory, what we'll do once it is represented and once it is stored and then once it is manipulated, it can be deleted. So the actions are purely dependent on the purpose for which the embedded system is being designed. If it is a digital camera, then we will click the image and once it is getting printed or once it is transferred to the laptop or a computer, we will delete it from the internal memory of the digital camera. Likewise, depending upon what is my application or where I am using this particular embedded system, I'll be taking that particular action. So the embedded system design for measurement applications here without any storage used in the control and instruction domain. It will collect the data and gives a meaningful representation and data by means of graphical representation or a quality value and use the collected data new data types. So this is what is explained. So we have analog and digital CMOS without storage memory where we will just monitor the data, we don't store. And a digital camera, which is already explained, it is a best example for an embedded system for data collection, representation, as well as it can be stored also. Fine. So this is the example of data collection as well as data storage. This is a monitor. See the device. Where we can see the data collected and the digital camera where we'll be collecting it. Okay. Then what happens is we have the data collection, storage, and then representation. This is a household application. Okay. Whereas this is a monitor where hospitals and all will be looking at the blood pressure and the temperature and so on. This is that. Okay. So this is the data that is connected will be stored in a stored in a digital form in the thing. Okay. So the second purpose is data communication. That means the embedded data communication systems are deployed in the applications from complex satellite communication systems to simple home networking systems. The main motto of this one is to communicate the data. The data collected by an embedded terminal may require transferring of the same to some other system located remotely. The transmission is achieved by a wireline medium or a wireless medium. You can either select a wired medium through which you will be transferring the data or through which you will be communicating with the system. And in wireless medium, you might be using the communication link or you might be using the modules Bluetooth, Zigbee, Wi-Fi. using which you will be sending the data. So the ultimate motto here is to communicate the data from one point to the other point. To meet this requirement, what we'll do is either we will do the sharing of the data, or the data will be shared with respect to the requirement, whether I want to transfer it to the satellite link or whether I want to transfer it to the other links. Okay, so for a wireless module I'll be selecting Bluetooth, Zigbee, Wi-Fi, Edge and GPS. Otherwise for a wireless modules I'll be selecting RS-232, USB, TCP/IP, PS2 and so on. So what happens here is you will be selecting one particular wire medium or wireless medium depending upon what is your application. And we have seen certain embedded systems that acts as a dedicated transmission unit between the sending and the receiving terminals. So we will be using them for packaging, encrypting, decrypting. We want them to be operated for the various features. So this is the third purpose for which we will be selecting the embedded system, that is digital signal processing. The data, that is voice, image, video, electrical signal or any other measurable quantities collected by the embedded system may be used for various kinds of data processing. Embedded systems with the signal processing functionalities will be employed in this particular application, where the signal processing like speech processing, image processing, video processing and audio to video converter or video to audio converter, all those things whatever we have, that will be done here. So here it's a simple how the speech is being converted into the binary values. You can see in this figure that the lady is talking and here we have a microphone which will be converted, and the stored data whatever we have, that is in binary. And this side is another figure where the person is using a hearing aid. So hearing aid is a thing that it is a small embedded system which converts or which increases the level of hearing for a deaf or for a level hearings of people. So here what happens is we will be having an amplifier which will amplify the signal, and then through the speaker it will be made able to listen to the deaf people or the people with a low hearing sensibility. Then the next version is the monitoring. In this monitoring, what happens is almost all the embedded systems coming under medical domain are with the monitoring functions only. Your ECG recording machine, your PP machine, whatever we take, everything will be using for monitoring functions. That means they will display the change in the human body, but they cannot do anything. That means we cannot control the pulse rate by showing it on the ECG screen. Well, so they are used for determining the state of some variables using input sensors. Okay, so input sensors will be connected to the patient's body and it will record the change or the variation, and it will be displaying that on the monitor. So a very good example for this one is what we have seen in the first slide, that is a electrocardiogram, that is ECG machine. The ECG machine is used for monitoring the heartbeat of a patient. The machine is intended to do the monitoring of the heartbeat of a patient, but it cannot impose control. That means if something is happening or something is there, then it cannot control the heartbeat. It can just only sense and it can display the content of that particular human. Then we have the other examples which are used for monitoring. Monitoring means we will be using either a digital CRO to read the signal level, its amplitude, its frequency, its phase and so on. And we'll use a digital multimeter which will detect me the amount of current, voltage, the resistance and so on. Okay. So we also have a machine called as earthquake recorder, where earthquake recorder will record the amount of vibration on the system. So the amount of vibration will be detected by the machine, and it will be printed as paper can be used for analysis of the amount of earthquake. So the next type of purpose is control purpose. We have done everything, we have sensed, we have monitored, and we have to be recording, or we have to be actuating some actions onto the system. So for that, this control is necessary. So what happens here is embedded systems with a control functionalities that will impose control over some variables according to the changes in the input variable. A system with a control functionality consists both sensors and actuators. So sensors are connected to the input port, whereas actuators are connected to the output port. Sensors are always connected to get the input from the environmental variable, measuring variable. Actuators uh, are used to connect to the controlled variable, controlled devices. That means depending upon the change whatever we have in the sensors, we need to be changing the temperature, we need to be changing some parameter in the output side. So for this, sensors and actuators are necessary. See, for example, take the example of air conditioning system, which is there in our home. So what happens in the air conditioning system is, we need to the ultimate motto of this one is to control the room temperature. For the room temperature, we will specify a limit. If the temperature of the room goes high, which is calculated by this thermistor as well as a temperature sensor. When it senses that the temperature is high, then the air condition will be switched on automatically, and it will be switched on and the air will be blowing so that the room will be cooled in a fraction of seconds. The thermistor or the temperature sensor, whatever we have, this may handled unit, what we call it as, it may be connected to the central embedded system residing inside the air, and it will be working with respect to a wire link or a wireless link. Okay, and we'll be using a air compressor, which is an actuator. Depending upon the temperature, it will be actuating this, and the compressor will be used to control the temperature and set it to a desired temperature what is set by the user. Okay, so here the controlling variable is a temperature, and that will be controlled by using the air flow rate by the compressor unit. And this is the last one, that is application specific user interface. Nowadays we have smartphones which are still more better than this. But when we got the textbook was written in 93. So from there we will be having this image. Okay, this is a 1.6 image of Shibuki. It has it is called as application specific user interface because it has buttons, switches, keypad, light, speaker, display, everything in a single device. Okay, nowadays we have touch screen, nowadays we have Bluetooth, via which we will be connecting to the external world. Whereas in those days, this Nokia phone was the application specific user interface designed. Okay. In the today's lecture, we have learnt about the different purposes of an embedded system, and the purposes will be data collection, storage, representation, data monitoring, and data control, as well as the application specific user interface. We'll meet in the next video. Until then, take care.